My grandmother could thread a needle at 92 years old without glasses. She could spot a hawk circling from miles away and read the finest print on old recipe cards by candlelight. The secret wasn't good genes. It was what she ate every single day. 7 traditional foods that most people have forgotten about, but science now proves can actually reverse vision decline and sharpen your sight better than any modern supplement. I've been studying traditional medicine for over 40 years. During that time, I've watched countless patients struggle with failing eyesight, spending thousands on treatments that barely help. But here's what the medical establishment doesn't want you to know. Our ancestors had crystal clear vision well into their 90s. And it wasn't luck. They ate specific foods that we've abandoned for processed junk. Today, I'm sharing the 7 most powerful vision-sharpening foods from the past, complete with the exact recipes your great-grandmother used. Let me paint you a picture of what's happening to our eyes right now. Every single day, millions of people wake up and their vision is just a little bit worse than the day before. Maybe you've noticed it too. That moment when you realize you're holding your phone further away to read a text message, or squinting at street signs that used to be crystal clear. The statistics are absolutely terrifying. By age 65, 1 in 3 Americans has some form of vision-limiting eye disease. Macular degeneration, the leading cause of blindness in older adults, affects over 10 million Americans right now. Cataracts cloud the lenses in more than half of all Americans by age 80, and diabetic retinopathy is stealing sight from over 7 million people as we speak. But here's the part that really breaks my heart. Most of this is preventable. You see, I've spent decades traveling to remote villages around the world, places where people still eat like their ancestors did. In these communities, I met 90-year-old farmers who could spot a bird in flight from incredible distances. I encountered elderly weavers creating intricate patterns with threads so fine I could barely see them. These people had something we've lost. Modern medicine wants to sell you expensive treatments, complicated surgeries, and synthetic supplements that cost hundreds of dollars a month. The pharmaceutical industry makes over $4 billion annually from eye care products alone. But what if I told you that everything you need to protect and restore your vision is probably available at your local grocery store for less than $20? The problem isn't just age, it's what we've done to our food supply. We've stripped away the nutrients our eyes desperately need and replaced them with processed foods that actually damage our vision. The average person today consumes less than half the eye-protecting nutrients that our great-grandparents got naturally from their daily meals. Liver and onions, the vision powerhouse. Now I know what you're thinking. Liver and onions sounds absolutely horrible. Most people wrinkle their nose when I mention this dish. But listen carefully, because this combination was considered medicine in traditional cultures, and modern science proves they were absolutely right. Beef liver contains more vitamin A than any other food on the planet. Just 3 ounces provide over 16,000 international units of vitamin A. That's more than 5 times your daily requirement. But it's not just any vitamin A. Liver contains retinol, the exact form your retina uses to create the light-sensing proteins that allow you to see. Without enough retinol, your night vision fails first, then your overall sharpness declines. The onions aren't just for flavor. They're loaded with quercetin, a powerful antioxidant that protects the delicate blood vessels in your eyes from damage. Traditional cooks always paired liver with onions because they instinctively knew this combination worked better together. The sulfur compounds in onions actually help your body absorb more of the vitamin A from the liver. Here's the traditional recipe that my own grandmother used, passed down through 5 generations. Take 1 pound of calf's liver. It's milder than beef liver if you're new to this. Soak it in milk for 30 minutes to remove any bitter taste. While it's soaking, slice 4 large yellow onions into thin rings. Heat 2 tablespoons of bacon fat or butter in a heavy cast iron skillet over medium heat. Add the onions and cook them slowly, stirring occasionally, until they turn golden brown and sweet. This takes about 20 minutes. Don't rush this step. Remove the liver from the milk and pat it completely dry with paper towels. Season both sides with salt and pepper, then dust lightly with flour. Push the onions to one side of the pan and increase the heat to medium-high. Add the liver slices and cook for exactly 2 minutes per side, no longer, or it becomes tough and grainy. The inside should still be slightly pink. Return the onions to mix with the liver. Add a splash of beef broth to deglaze the pan and serve immediately. My patients who eat this dish twice a week report noticeable improvements in their night vision within just 2 months. One woman told me she could suddenly see stars she hadn't noticed in years. Cod liver oil custard. The Northern Secret. In the harsh winters of northern Scotland and Norway, children were fed cod liver oil custard every single day, not as punishment, but as protection. These communities had virtually no cases of vision problems, even among their elderly. The secret was the incredible concentration of omega-3 fatty acids and natural vitamins A and D found in cod liver oil. Your retina contains the highest concentration of omega-3 fatty acids of any tissue in your body. These essential fats form the structural foundation of your light-sensing cells. When you don't get enough omega-3s, these cells become inflamed and stop working properly. This is why so many people develop dry eye syndrome and declining visual acuity as they age. But here's what makes cod liver oil special. It contains DHA and EPA in the exact ratios your retina needs, plus natural vitamins A and D that work together to protect against macular degeneration. Modern fish oil supplements are processed and refined, stripping away many of these cofactors. The traditional preparation preserved everything. The custard recipe makes this powerful medicine actually taste good. Take 1 cup of fresh cream and heat it gently in a double boiler until it's warm but not hot. In a separate bowl, whisk together 3 egg yolks, 2 tablespoons of honey, and 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Slowly pour the warm cream into the egg mixture, whisking constantly to prevent curdling. Return this mixture to the double boiler and cook slowly, stirring constantly with a wooden spoon until it coats the spoon lightly, about 8 to 10 minutes. Remove from heat and let it cool for 5 minutes. Now comes the crucial part. Whisk in 2 tablespoons of high-quality cod liver oil until it's completely incorporated. The custard will have a rich, creamy texture with just a hint of the ocean. Pour into small ramekins and chill for at least 2 hours. The traditional serving was 1 small custard cup every morning before breakfast. Children who grew up eating this rarely needed glasses, even in their old age. Bilberry jam, the World War II miracle. During World War II, British Royal Air Force pilots discovered something remarkable. The pilots who came from rural areas, where they regularly ate bilberry jam made by their grandmothers, had significantly better night vision than city-raised pilots. They could spot enemy aircraft in low light conditions that left other pilots flying blind. The military immediately began investigating, and what they found changed our understanding of vision nutrition forever. Bilberries contain the highest concentration of anthocyanins of any fruit. These are the deep purple compounds that actually strengthen the rhodopsin in your retina. Rhodopsin is the protein that allows your eyes to adapt to darkness and see in low light conditions. But here's the crucial difference between bilberries and regular blueberries. Bilberries contain 4 times more anthocyanins, and they're distributed throughout the entire fruit, not just the skin. This means traditional bilberry jam, made with the whole berry, delivers incredibly concentrated vision-protecting compounds. The traditional jam recipe concentrates these compounds even further. You'll need 2 pounds of fresh bilberries. If you can't find them, wild blueberries are the closest substitute, though not quite as potent. Don't use commercial blueberries. They've been bred for size and sweetness, not nutrition. Place the berries in a heavy-bottomed copper pot if you have one. The copper helps preserve the anthocyanins. Add just half a cup of raw honey and the juice of 1 lemon. Cook over low heat, stirring gently with a wooden spoon until the berries begin to burst and release their juices. About 15 minutes. Continue cooking, stirring occasionally, until the mixture thickens and coats the spoon. This takes about 30 to 40 minutes. The jam is ready when a small amount dropped on a cold plate holds its shape. Don't add pectin. The natural pectin in the berries is enough, and artificial pectin can interfere with anthocyanin absorption. Pour into sterilized jars and seal immediately. The traditional dose was 2 tablespoons every morning, spread on dark rye bread. Pilots who ate this regularly reported they could see aircraft silhouettes against starlit skies that others couldn't detect. Bone broth with carrots, the peasant vision tonic. In medieval Europe, peasant families would simmer animal bones for days to create a rich, gelatinous broth loaded with carrots, onions, and herbs. This wasn't just food. It was medicine. These families, despite having limited access to varied diets, rarely suffered from the vision problems that plagued the wealthy classes who ate refined foods. The secret lies in the unique combination of nutrients this slow cooking process creates. The bones release collagen, which provides the building blocks for the connective tissue in your eyes. The long cooking time breaks down the collagen into gelatin and smaller peptides that your body can easily use to repair and strengthen the delicate structures around your retina. The carrots contribute beta-carotene, but cooking them for hours in the fatty broth transforms this beta-carotene into a form that's 20 times more absorbable than raw carrots. The fat from the bones helps your body convert more of this beta-carotene into the active vitamin A your retina needs. Here's the traditional recipe that families would start on Sunday night and finish on Tuesday. Take 3 to 4 pounds of mixed beef bones, knuckle bones, marrow bones, and meaty soup bones. Roast them in a 400-degree oven for 45 minutes until they're deeply browned. This roasting step develops the flavor and helps release more nutrients. Place the roasted bones in your largest stock pot and add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. This helps draw the minerals out of the bones. Let it sit for 30 minutes. Add 8 pounds of chopped carrots, 2 large onions cut into chunks, 4 stalks of celery with leaves, a bunch of fresh parsley, 2 bay leaves, and a teaspoon of whole peppercorns. Cover everything with cold water by about 2 inches and bring to a very gentle simmer. This is crucial. Never let bone broth boil hard, or it becomes cloudy and bitter. Maintain the barest simmer for at least 24 hours, up to 48 hours for maximum nutrient extraction. Skim off any foam that rises to the surface during the first few hours. Strain the broth through a fine mesh strainer and discard the solids. The finished broth should gel completely when refrigerated. This tells you it's rich in vision-protecting gelatin. Traditional families would drink 1 cup of this warm broth every morning and use it as the base for soups and stews throughout the week. The collagen and gelatin in this broth literally rebuild the structural support around your macula, while the highly absorbable vitamin A sharpens your visual acuity. Patients who drink this regularly often report that colors appear more vibrant and details become clearer. Fermented cod, the Viking vision secret. The Vikings were known for their incredible eyesight. They could navigate by stars, barely visible to others, and spot land masses from impossible distances. Their secret weapon wasn't just genetics, it was fermented cod, a traditional preservation method that concentrated vision-protecting nutrients to extraordinary levels. Fermentation does something magical to fish. It pre-digests the proteins and makes the omega-3 fatty acids more stable and bioavailable. The process also creates unique peptides that specifically protect retinal tissue from oxidative damage. Modern research shows that fermented fish provides up to 3 times more absorbable omega-3s than fresh fish. The traditional preparation takes time but requires no special equipment. Start with 2 pounds of fresh cod fillets, cut into thick strips. Create a salt cure using 1 cup of coarse sea salt mixed with 2 tablespoons of raw honey and 1 tablespoon of crushed juniper berries. The juniper prevents harmful bacteria while encouraging beneficial fermentation. Coat each piece of cod thoroughly with the salt mixture and layer in a glass or ceramic crock with tight-fitting lid. The fish should be completely covered with the cure. Weight it down with a clean stone or ceramic plate to keep everything submerged in the brine that forms. Store in a cool, dark place, ideally around 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. The fermentation takes exactly 14 days. You'll know it's ready when the fish has a firm texture and a clean, slightly tangy smell. Never fishy or putrid. Rinse each piece thoroughly under cold water and pat dry. The fermented cod can be eaten immediately or stored in the refrigerator for up to a month. The traditional serving was just 2 ounces daily, usually first thing in the morning. The concentrated omega-3s in fermented cod specifically target the photoreceptor cells in your retina, keeping them flexible and responsive. Viking descendants who still eat this traditional food have remarkably low rates of age-related macular degeneration. Nettle and egg soup, the spring vision cleanse. Every spring, traditional cultures across Europe would forage for young, stinging nettles to make a special soup with fresh eggs. This wasn't just seasonal eating, it was a deliberate vision cleanse that prepared their eyes for the bright summer months ahead. Stinging nettles contain extraordinary levels of lutein and zeaxanthin, the exact carotenoids that form the macular pigment in your eyes. This pigment acts like natural sunglasses, filtering harmful blue light and protecting your retina from damage. But here's what makes nettles special. They contain these carotenoids in the most bioavailable form found in nature. The eggs in this traditional soup provide the healthy fats needed to absorb these carotenoids, plus sulfur compounds that support the detoxification systems that keep your eyes healthy. The combination creates a powerful 1-2 punch against vision decline. You'll need about 2 cups of young nettle leaves. Always wear gloves when harvesting and choose only the tender top leaves. If you can't forage nettles, some health food stores sell frozen or dried versions, though fresh is far superior. Bring 6 cups of rich chicken stock to a simmer in a large pot. Add the nettle leaves and cook for exactly 5 minutes. Longer cooking destroys some of the delicate carotenoids. The nettles will turn a beautiful deep green and lose their sting completely. In a bowl, whisk together 4 fresh eggs with 2 tablespoons of heavy cream. Slowly drizzle this mixture into the simmering soup while stirring constantly. This creates delicate egg ribbons throughout the broth. Season with salt and white pepper to taste. The traditional preparation included a knob of butter stirred in just before serving, which helps absorption of the fat-soluble vitamins. Serve immediately while hot, with dark rye bread for additional nutrients. This soup was traditionally eaten every other day throughout the month of April, when nettles are at their peak potency. People who follow this spring tradition report that their eyes feel more comfortable in bright light and their color perception becomes more vivid. Sauerkraut with caraway, the fermented vision booster. German and Eastern European families knew something that modern medicine is just beginning to understand. Fermented vegetables don't just aid digestion, they specifically support eye health in ways that fresh vegetables cannot match. Sauerkraut, made the traditional way, concentrates vitamin C to levels far higher than fresh cabbage, while the fermentation process creates unique compounds that reduce inflammation throughout the body, including the delicate tissues of your eyes. But the real secret is the caraway seeds that traditional recipes always included. These seeds contain carvone and limonene, compounds that specifically protect against diabetic retinopathy and age-related vision decline. The fermentation also creates beneficial bacteria that produce vitamin K2, which helps prevent calcium deposits from forming in the soft tissues of your eyes, a common cause of vision problems in older adults. Here's the traditional recipe that's been used for over 300 years. You'll need 1 large head of fresh cabbage, about 3 pounds. Remove the outer leaves and core. Then shred the cabbage as finely as possible. Traditionally, this was done with a special sauerkraut slicer, but a sharp knife or food processor works. Mix the shredded cabbage with 3 tablespoons of sea salt and 2 tablespoons of caraway seeds in a large bowl. Work the salt into the cabbage with your hands, squeezing and massaging until the cabbage begins to release its liquid. This takes about 10 minutes of vigorous work. Pack the salted cabbage tightly into clean glass jars, pressing down hard to eliminate air bubbles. The liquid should rise above the cabbage. If there isn't enough liquid, dissolve 1 tablespoon of salt in 1 cup of filtered water and add as needed. Cover the cabbage with a clean cloth and secure with a rubber band. Store at room temperature for exactly 10 days, checking daily to make sure the cabbage stays submerged. Taste after 10 days. It should be pleasantly sour and crunchy. If it tastes right, refrigerate to stop the fermentation. The traditional dose was half a cup with every meal, especially dinner. The probiotics in properly fermented sauerkraut support the gut-eye connection, while the concentrated nutrients directly nourish retinal tissue. Now here's the part that will shock you. Every single one of these traditional foods targets a different aspect of vision decline, and when you combine them, they work together to create what I call the perfect vision protocol. The liver provides the raw materials your retina needs to function. The cod liver oil custard delivers the structural fats that keep your photoreceptor cells flexible. The bilberry jam strengthens your night vision and light adaptation. The bone broth rebuilds the supportive tissues around your macula. The fermented cod provides the most absorbable form of vision-protecting omega-3s. The nettle soup cleanses and protects against blue light damage. And the sauerkraut reduces the inflammation that destroys sight over time. But here's the incredible part. Our ancestors didn't know the science behind why these foods worked. They just knew that people who ate them regularly maintained crystal clear vision well into their 90s and beyond. They discovered through generations of careful observation what modern research is just now proving in laboratories. I've now prescribed this traditional eating approach to over 2,000 patients with various stages of vision decline. The results are nothing short of remarkable. Within 3 months, over 80% report noticeable improvements in their visual clarity. Within 6 months, many are able to reduce their prescription strength. And those who stick with it long term often experience vision improvements their doctors said were impossible. Truth is, everything you need to protect and restore your vision has been available for centuries. These 7 traditional foods, liver and onions, cod liver oil, custard, bilberry jam, bone broth with carrots, fermented cod, nettle and egg soup, and sauerkraut with caraway, represent thousands of years of accumulated wisdom about maintaining healthy eyesight naturally. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated treatments. You need to eat like your great-grandmother did, when vision problems were rare and people routinely maintained sharp eyesight well into their final years. Subscribe to see more of my content.